This is the section where we're going to cover 4 brief case studies in the study of will grid soil sampling work for my livestock farm. With dairy farm number 2 case study with liquid manure, this is what we have to work with. We have 1,3/4 gallons of a liquid slurry, and for each 1,000 gallons we have 14 pounds of nitrogen, 6 pounds of phosphorus, and 18 pounds of potassium. Now let's take a look at the field for this dairy. It's a 95-acre field. We have a typical dairy rotation of 4 years alfalfa and 4 years of corn silage. Our soil composite test is a 27 parts per million Bray and 84 parts per million potassium. We have somewhat of a hilly area, and our livestock facilities down here in the lower left part of the screen. With a 27 and 84, we would typically say that we don't need any phosphorus on this field, but would be looking for some potassium out in this field. Here we have the grid results from this dairy farm. Remember that our livestock facilities down here in the lower center, and like we've seen before, we have a lot of high phosphorus levels surrounding that area where the dairy facility is. But on the other side of this field, we have some phosphorus needs, and we also have some potassium needs. In fact, in this zonal area, where we would come up with an average of a 15 parts per million Bray and a 74 parts per million potassium. This is a very good example of showing where grid sampling can work, and we can identify portions of the field that needs the manure. Now here we have another hog farm. This is a little bit different than most of our other sites. We have a fairly level field in this situation. Here's the livestock facility. We have a 157-acre field, a corn soybean rotation. The composite soil test on this field is a 33 parts per million Bray and 194 parts per million potassium. This type of a soil test, we would typically say, well, we don't really need any phosphorus or potassium out here. Here are the results of this hog farm. Remember that the hog facility was up here, and ironically right next to that is where we have our high phosphorus levels. But we do have some phosphorus needs along the outside here. This zonal area out here, we have an average phosphorus of just under 21 parts per million Bray and 166 parts per million potassium. Here we have a beef farm. We have a 189-acre field. We have a soybean corn rotation, a slinger spreader, and a composite result of 50 parts per million Bray and 227 parts per million potassium. These are quite high in the fact that we normally would say we don't need any phosphorus or potassium on this field. Here's our farm site, and this shaded area over here is all part of the farmyard. Here we have our grid cell results of this beef farm. Look across here, almost all of our phosphorus levels are quite high. So we might say we don't need any manure out here for the phosphorus levels. What we're going to do in this situation, we're going to apply our manure out here based upon our phosphorus renewable rate of this area of the field. There are some needs of some potassium in parts of this field. So in this zonal area, we have a 37 parts per million Bray and over 230 parts per million potassium. Another area of interest down here, notice we have this 282 parts per million Bray down here, along with a 951 parts per million potassium. Checking my sources, this was the location of a former stockpile site. Now here we have a situation where they're looking at purchasing some poultry manure. We have a 50-acre field with a corn alfalfa rotation. On this field we have an average test of 26 parts per million Bray and 121 parts per million potassium. Typically with that we would say we don't need any phosphorus, but we could use a little bit of potassium. Down on the lower side here, this is the site of the livestock facility itself, and it's kind of hilly. Here's our grid cell results of this farm that's going to put down the poultry manure. Remember that the building site was here, so in prior years we've had quite a bit of manure around here with some pretty high phosphorus levels and potassium levels in that general area. But we do have some needs out in the far areas of both phosphorus and potassium. So our zonal area here, we do have a 15 parts per million Bray and a 92 parts per million potassium. So a very good situation of bringing in some manure and putting it in the right places. This concludes this section on the 4 brief case studies on a will grid sampling work for my livestock farm.